If you were raised religious, this might sting, because these myths weren't just taught to you, they were engineered to keep you obedient. So let's decode them. Starting off strong, of course, with "He died for your sins." This was engineered to shift responsibility away from personal spiritual growth and place it on a one-time event, effectively turning awakening into a passive inheritance rather than a personal choice. This creates dependency on external saviors instead of inner sovereignty. It allows corrupt systems to set themselves up as gatekeepers to salvation, and encourages guilt cycles such as "he suffered because of me," while simultaneously numbing accountability. Up next, divine timing. Divine timing means you wait. This is weaponized patience, sold as trust in God, but used to stall revolutions, suppress leaders, and prevent collective uprisings from gaining momentum. This keeps people in spiritual stagnation, waiting for a sign, lets unjust power structures stay in control while the masses remain inert, and creates the illusion that action before permission is rebellion against God. Suffering is holy. This was introduced to normalize oppression, poverty, and abuse by reframing them as spiritual tests or divine factor. This prevents the oppressed from challenging their conditions, keeps people from seeking healing because their pain feels sacred, and protects abusers by making endurance a virtue. Obedience is faith. You hear this a lot. Positions compliance as moral and spiritual duty, ensuring loyalty to religious and political leaders rather than truth itself. This merges faith with submission to authority, demonizes questioning or critical thinking, and trains children to equate fear with reverence, making them easier to control as adults. And last, God only speaks through chosen men. Cuts off direct connection to source for women, mystics, and sovereign souls by filtering divine messages through a patriarchal hierarchy. This keeps spiritual leadership in male-dominated, institution-controlled hands, silences those who could dismantle the system from within, and creates dependency on priests, pastors, and prophets, rather than your own inner knowing. If any of these shook you, I know these are more commonly known, but some people still hold that Bible just near and dear to their heart. Wait until you hear the ones up next they really don't want you to know. Part 2 will be up in a few. Catch it before it mysteriously disappears. We started off with the basics. Now here's what the system couldn't erase, no matter how many times they rewrote history. The original teachings were about sovereignty, not worship. The real leaders taught that every soul has a direct connection to source. No priests, no institutions, and no spiritual hierarchy necessary. By removing this, they made generations believe they had to earn divine access through obedience, tithes, or rituals approved by them, locking humanity into dependency. The end times were always an internal shift. Apocalypse comes from the Greek apokalypsis, meaning unveiling. It was always about your inner awakening, not the physical destruction of the world. By turning it into a doomsday story, they kept people afraid of judgment instead of excited about liberation, making you brace for catastrophe instead of preparing for clarity. Then my favorite, erasing the divine feminine flipped the system in their favor. The balanced world was built on the union of divine feminine and divine masculine, both equally honored as expressions of source. The feminine carried the codes for creation, healing, and cyclical renewal. When they stripped the feminine from the narrative, rebranding priestesses as sinners, mothers as secondary, and wisdom as heresy. They broke the balance. This collapse made domination, war, and control possible on a global scale. Your soul contracts outweigh any laws they made. In the original truth, your soul mission and integrity were the highest law, higher than kings, armies, or even spiritual councils. By replacing soul sovereignty with man-made laws, they kept people loyal to leaders instead of loyal to the truth, creating a system where legality could justify injustice. And last, history was rewritten to hide the survivors. Entire events, cultures, and people were erased, not because they were insignificant, but because they made it through the last collapse. When you erase the proof that survival and sovereignty are possible, you keep future generations convinced that collapse means the end instead of rebirth. If you ever feel like your soul didn't fit the story that they told, maybe it's because your soul wasn't supposed to be written out of it. Let me know if you guys want me to keep going with the prophecies that they almost got right, but still gave away the ending. If you've ever wondered how people go from living a normal life to becoming fully awakened in this turning point in history, then I've got the real unfiltered map for you. So step 1 is simple: awareness. Everything begins with seeing the cracks in the life you've been told is normal. It's not about conspiracy rabbit holes or fear. It's the felt knowing that something about this world does not match your soul. This awareness can be sparked by a book, a conversation, a heartbreak, a TikTok, or even a moment where reality just feels off. Step 2 is discernment. Once the awareness switch flips, you'll see everything differently. You start asking, who benefits from me believing this? Why am I told to fear that? This is where you separate signal from noise, learning what's truth, what's distortion, and what's designed to keep you asleep. Step 3 is clearing. Awakening isn't just about knowing. It's about making room for a new frequency to live in you. This means collapsing old trauma loops, releasing identities that were built on fear, and cutting the energetic cords that feed the very system that you're rising out of. Step 4, alignment. As you clear, your body, mind, and spirit start syncing with your true blueprint. You'll naturally be pulled towards certain people, spaces, and practices that strengthen your field. This is also where you stop negotiating with distortion. Anything that dims you goes. Step 5, embodiment. True ascension isn't theory. It's living the new frequency daily. Your presence becomes the activation for others. You're no longer chasing awakening. You are it. From here on out, everything you do, from the way you speak to the way you move, reinforces the updated grid. Some of you guys wonder why I get on here so adamant or serious, or we're all just having a human experience. Here's why. We're in between cycles right now. Those who choose to start, to rise, to become aware, to start clearing, they move into the new cycle and the new frequency. The ones who choose to mock or stay in their comfort loops or ignore every sign placed in their face will collapse. And there's no redemption left in this cycle. Once those doors shut, there's no coming back. That's why I'm screaming in your ear, hello. I could sit here and address all day and channel to the camera. Source says, wake up. I am trying to save you guys. So many people get their panties in a wad. I'm giving you the steps. I'm trying to help. The resources are available. The choice is yours. I asked, why can't I just shoot fire out of my hands? Wouldn't this make this a lot easier on everybody? Because the number one cosmic law, everyone has free will. I could sit here and shoot fire at you, and no one can really explain that, can they? I'm sure a lot of people would say that's AI too. So listen to your body. Everything has a frequency. You know whether you're listening to real or bullshit. You gotta figure it out. Start piecing your life. Take it apart. Awareness is step one. You need to see something that shakes you. Feel it. As I was saying. So those who have aligned will lock into the upgraded frequency and carry it forward into the new age. Those who haven't will collapse into their own density with no chance to rise again in this cycle. This isn't fear, it's choice. And the choice is made in your daily actions, your daily alignment, your daily embodiment. This is the map. Awareness is the door. Alignment is the key. And once you turn the key, nothing can put you back to sleep.